This is Q905, of course, Talk on the Block. Stick around, there is more. Q9 to 5. Of course, this afternoon I suspect we'll have an interesting conversation. Just what is going on, I really don't know, huh? This morning I heard this from the police, huh? It appears there's been a change of mind. 110. How did this happen? I really don't know.
Police seize cash in excess of 1.2 million Eastern Caribbean dollars, and 2 adult males are in police custody in relation to that seizure. On Wednesday, the 19th of April 2017, the Drug Squad unit of the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force led an anti-drug operation on the west coast of Dominica. Cash totaling in excess of 1.2 million Eastern Caribbean dollars was discovered and seized at Belfast. The monies seized are made up as follows: $36,940 United States currency, $569,170.60 Eastern Caribbean currency, and $167,285 European currency. 2 adult males from the community of Maho are in police custody in relation to the seizure. Investigations are ongoing.
Now I'm hearing that the police may have a change of mind as to the monies that were seized. Carlisle John Baptist is, of course, standing by, if you will, on the phone, giving us the latest information. Carlisle, what is really going on?
Matt, good afternoon to you.
Seems like a joke.
Well, I don't know if you want to say a joke. What I can tell you, though, is that my information is that the 2 individuals, they were released last night. So the report came in this morning, but they were released since last night. They are not in police custody.
So the police PRO was not aware of that?
I don't know. All I can tell you is for a fact that the 2 men were released last night. I know who they are. I have their names. I will not release their names. They were released last night, and basically, the money. They say the money does not belong to them. They have no clue as to anything about that money. So
you're arresting or charging 2 individuals, and
they've not charged them. They arrested them on suspicion. But I guess when they did further investigation, they realized maybe they cannot go anywhere. So they released them last night. The information is that the gentlemen in question, the 2 brothers, they say they have no dealings with the money. They have no idea about the money. So if I say the money does not belong to me, you have to try to prove it. Now they need to go to court to confiscate the money, because even though the money does not belong to anybody, the court must give an order for it to be sent to the consolidated funds of the state, to the treasury.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to go to court now so as to get that order, and I'm hoping that the exact amount of money that it is alleged that they found goes to court, because remember, we are hearing of 2 different sets of money. We've heard one amount, I think 1.2, and I'm hearing of something like another amount, something different. So I'm not sure which is correct. I'm not sure which is correct. But I can confirm to you that the two men in question were released since last night.
And the police is not aware of that?
I don't know if the police PRO is aware, but they were released last night.
So who is giving the PRO the information, Kalajan? This is something like, I said it before, you don't want me to use the word, but it sounds like a joke.
Well, whatever information is given to the police PRO, it's coming from somebody, whoever is responsible, you know. I don't know, and it's just like Matt, and not wanting to divert. Some time ago, they arrested Philbert Bertrand. They arrested him for allegations of guns and ammunition.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if the matter had gone to court. Yes, it went to court. He was found not guilty. There was a report before that. There was an investigator who investigated the matter. The senior police investigator told him that there was not enough evidence to charge Bertrand. They still went ahead and charged him according to, and then, I guess, embarrassed him. He was set free. My information and my point is that, Matt, now, what has become of that report that was given to the police? The senior investigator gave them a report, a top senior police investigator, and we have other reports sitting on the desk. What is going on with it? So coming back to your same thing, whoever is giving the police PRO the information must give the police PRO the right information so that he can release the right information to the public. So here it is. Two men were picked up by the police last night in connection with seizures of money. They were brought in for questioning, they were questioned, and they were released last night. And I have that credible information.
Mm-hmm.
They had an attorney, I know who the attorney is, and they were released. Now the police PRO now comes on the radio and says that they are in police custody and the investigations is continuing. They are continuing the investigations. And
the question is, can you trust the information coming from the PRO? You know, it makes him pass like a fool. My friend Inspector Pelham John Baptist, you know.
Inspector is a bright chap, man.
He is.
He's a bright chap. He is merely reporting
what is passed on to him.
That is correct. That is very correct. And so when he gives out the information, he expects that the information he's given
is credible information.
Credible and factual and proper, so that when he releases that information, it is gospel. So here it is. And some time ago, some information was also released about someone stealing something. And I know Media House, unfortunately, went on the bad side of that information. So you see, I don't know. You have to try to give the right information to the police PRO at all times, because again, the credibility of the police force is now being called into question.
So the young men are out there.
Yes.
They're free.
They are out there free. And yesterday, Matt, I made some comments as it relates to a certain matter. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. I want to say this. I am in no way stating that the DPP or any one member of her staff presently in her office are guilty of any corrupt practices. I want to get that clear. What I stated was a matter involving an individual. I have the name. It's a case. I will not give the case number, but it's whatever number of 2016, where an incident occurred, and that incident was brought to the attention of the powers that be, senior officials, and it was of grave concern to the judiciary. Very, very, very interesting matter. And so
John Baptist, are you under pressure here?
I'm not under pressure, Matt. No, I'm just further clarifying. I'm just bringing it closer to base.
Was it an ex-member, ex-staff member of the DPP?
You can say that.
But not a current staff member?
That is correct. That is correct.
Simple, yes?
Yes. So we have that. We have that there. So the office of the, I'm not saying the office of the DPP is corrupt. I will never say that. I have the greatest of regards for the staff and members. I've worked with them many years, Matt, and you know that, from Brian McCabe, from Roger
John Baptist, I'm respecting that. But
right.
If, of course, an ex-member, ex-staff member of the DPP, of course, it's brought into question, it goes to show, if you will, that the DPP and its leadership may be compromised in that situation.
Ah, that is interesting. But it may also goes to show that, you know, sometimes certain things happen, Matt, and, you know, each and every member of staff may not be aware.
Well, Carla, it goes to show if, for example, something happens to the government of Dominica, who are they going to say is responsible? Not the leader?
Yeah. You remember, Matt, some time ago, something was circulating with a judge and a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think, right. Not too long ago, a picture of a judge and a picture of the lawyer, and certain things were said with those pictures. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Not just about a month ago, you know.
Right.
Just about a month ago. So I'm saying this to say that look at what was happening, and that was circulated on social media. And I'm sure it went viral. A number of people would have seen it. I saw it. But all those things is just there to show, Matt, that whilst we are not all perfect, but we need to be very, very careful when we do certain things.
We agree to that. I will give you, you know, a nod on this one. But if your office is being called into question, it will show. Small society, they're gonna say, well, is the office of this, the office of that, not the individual.
That is correct. That you are very correct on that.
All right, thank you very much, Kala John Baptist.
I totally agree with you on that.
Thank you. It's a small society. We have to, of course, sometimes learn to deal with this. Anyway, Carlisle, thank you very much for the update on this police matter. Police.
Well, Matt, we have to keep monitoring it, and we still have to keep monitoring the situation in Point
And
Michel.
Inspector, yes, we have to see if any arrest is made. Inspector Pelham John Baptist, be very, very careful, or else
Well, Matt, he cannot
your
be more
information is will appear not to be credible.
He cannot be more careful than he is, because I guess he's sifting the information. However,
that happens, Carlisle, and I've said it before. If you don't have a PRO that is, if you will, spontaneous sometimes and speaks for himself, people speaking for him, you can find yourself in problems, my brother.
because people have to vet the information that is sent to him, and before he releases it,
And he sends a voice note.
right, before he releases it, it must be vetted by the powers that be. These are facts.
Well,
These are the facts of the matter.
you know, as you said, Mr. Pelham John Baptist is a very...
He's a good guy.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. But right now, your information is being called into question. Thank you very much. 1:24 is the afternoon time. Yes, the police have admitted to making a huge error in relation to a quantity of money seized in Maho on Wednesday. The police had originally reported that over 1 million was seized, but is now admitting that the amount is much less than that. In an original release to the media, Police PRO Inspector Pelham John Baptist reported about 1.2 million in various currencies was seized in the community during an operation by the drug squad on Wednesday, April 19th. He broke down the money as follows: 36,940,000 US currency, 560 and 170.6 in EC currency, and euro 67,285 in euro currency. However, later Thursday, John Baptist said the actual amount of money seized was in excess 550 and not 1.2 million as previously reported. Something is what? Not right? Okay, let's take a phone call and then we'll go to a report that we had this morning from Rejoc. Not too many people like that report, I can tell you that. Hello, talk to me.
I want to tell the police officers to forget the one pointing fingers at you, the 1.2 million, Matt, the one pointing fingers at you, and take your zeros. It's zero they're giving you. Just take, how many zeros in a million, Matt? 6 of them?
7.
7 of them. My brother, take all you zeros. It's not 000 now. So forget about the one that will be pointing fingers, 1.5, and take your zeros. Thank you, man.
Thank you very much. It's amazing, huh? Very amazing. 449 police, maybe you, I don't know. It was a genuine mistake on your part. Or, I will say no more. Hello, now everybody's pointing fingers now. Hello, talk to me.
Hi, Matt. This is a different topic, but it's really important.
Yes, go ahead.
Dumpers and trucks are leaving the Point Michelle quarry fully loaded and uncovered. That, number one, is against the law. They're supposed to be covered by law. It's causing a hazard for anybody who lives or walks or breathes in the village.
Well, I'll tell you what. Report that to the Ministry of the Environment, okay? We want to stay on focus this afternoon. Hello, talk to me.
I believe the first among two, Matt. When Mr. break that down for you, the first reading was true, Matt.
You see?
Yes, not the second.
Now you believe in what you want.
Yes, Matt. I'm going to tell you something. You're supposed to have a talk on the way garbage is being disposed in Dominica and the way the men are on that garbage truck, Matt.
I heard you last night.
Garbage, but we have to deal with that.
Yes, we will deal with that in a separate discussion. Thank you. I want to make a reference to an interview I had this morning with Mr. Kenneth Rejoc. Very interesting information about, passports leaving Dominica. Let's listen to a simple discuss. I was told I was attacked personally on the other radio station because of that interview. Some people just don't like dealing with what they say. These questions, huh? Let's go. Good morning to you. What can you tell us about what's going on?
Let me just say that while it's improper in the United States to comment on pending litigation, there's a new lawsuit, but it has nothing to do with Dominica. It has to do with stockbrokers in Canada who are alleging that some of the information I published in an article may not be true. However, that's not relevant to anything dealing with my articles on Dominica, and it looks to me like it was just posted as an effort to what we call shoot the messenger, or try to discredit anybody who's coming up with any truth about what's happening in Dominica. I will say this for the record, and I've said this also in writing, that I have never been had a judgment against me for libel, slander, or defamation of character. So anybody can file a lawsuit. Winning it is another story. In the meanwhile, more importantly and more relevant to
Before you continue, though, because it has been suggested that maybe somebody in Dominica may be behind this. Do you believe this?
Well, I can only assume, based upon the fact that I have had all sorts of garbage thrown at me in the past, which I can only imagine that it probably came from the work of Anthony Astaphan, who will never say that he represents Scarrett, but who has engaged in as much dirty politics and hacking that I have seen in a long time. And do I think that Mr. Astaphan is behind it? I most certainly do, sir.
All right. But we've been told also, Mr. Rijok, that you published a latest article last night about Dominica. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Well, it's incumbent upon journalists to always verify the truth of information that they receive. And if the information may or may not be true, it's vital that they get confirmation. I think some Dominicans probably know that last year, the Moroccan ambassador to all of the East Caribbean states visited Prime Minister Scarrett on January 29th of 2016, and I understand he came back one additional time. At that time, stories were flying about the fact that the ambassador from Dominica had actually left the country with thousands of blank passport forms from Dominica, passports themselves, legitimate issued passports. But of course, nobody really sought to publish that because it had never been corroborated, even though it came from a person inside the government. Now, I have received corroboration, and it didn't come from inside Dominica. It came from sources within the United States, so I need say no more about where they came from. But for that reason, I did publish the article, because if it is true, as these confirmations indicate, that there were a fistful of passports sold to a Middle Eastern diplomat, and that as many as 2,000 of these have now ended up in Syria, which, as you know, is the home of ISIS. It's the home of an Al-Qaeda affiliate and another group of radical Islamists, that we could have a situation where Dominicans show up in Roseau who happen to be terrorists from the Middle East, were not born in Dominica, and purchase some of these passports, and therefore they have the right to come into the country. The story is that there were many thousand passports sold on 2 occasions, and as such, while we certainly don't know how many there were, it could be as many as, I hate to say this because the truth hurts, it's been said that there were as many as 10,000 passports that were sold. Of course, this kind of a passport could only have been issued if either the Minister of Foreign Affairs allowed these documents to leave their secured facilities, or the Prime Minister of the country was involved with this. So,
Arthur, good afternoon. Arthur's listening on the telephone. Now, a lot of talk about whether this is really possible, about thousands of passports leaving our shores. And I guess a lot of government people are taking up with this one. Arthur Marte, you've been listening. Is that really possible? Arthur Marte, you there? I suspect we will reconnect with Arthur Marte on this one. 1:34, we're coming back. And of course, earlier we spoke about millions being 7 zeros. No, it was 6. Okay? Thank you. Apologies. 1:34. Let's see if we can reconnect with Arthur Marte. Okay, we'll try to reconnect with Matthew a little later this afternoon, but we'll take your phone calls. 135. This blog from Rejock is, of course, making its way, going viral at this time. Again, Marek, I just want to remind you that, of course, the dial is now 95.7, huh? 95.7. The telephone numbers are 449-3095. Interesting discussion going on there. Want to listen again to Mr. Kenneth Rejock, huh? Let's listen. Good morning to you. What can you tell us about what's going on?
Let me just say that while it's improper in the United States to comment on pending litigation, there's a new lawsuit, but it has nothing to do with Dominica. It has to do with stockbrokers in Canada who are alleging that some of the information I published in an article may not be true. However, that's not relevant to anything dealing with my articles on Dominica. And it looks to me like it was just posted as an effort to what we call shoot the messenger, or try to discredit anybody who's coming up with any truth about what's happening in Dominica. I will say this for the record, and I've said this also in writing, that I have never been had a judgment against me for libel, slander, or defamation of character. So anybody can file a lawsuit. Winning it is another story. In the meanwhile, more importantly and more relevant to Dominica.
Before you continue, though, because it has been suggested that maybe somebody in Dominica may be behind this. Do you believe this?
Well, I can only assume, based upon the fact that I have had all sorts of garbage thrown at me in the past, which I can only imagine that it probably came from the work of Anthony Astapan, who will never say that he represents Scarrett, but who has engaged in as much dirty politics and hacking that I have seen in a long time. And do I think that Mr. Astapan is behind it? I most certainly do, sir.
All right. But we've been told also, Mr. Rejock, that you published the latest article last night about Dominica. What's going on?
Yes, sir. Well, it's incumbent upon journalists to always verify the truth of information that they receive. And if the information may or may not be true, it's vital that they get confirmation. I think some Dominicans probably know that last year, the Moroccan ambassador to all of the East Caribbean states visited Prime Minister Scarrett on January 29th of 2016, and I understand he came back one additional time. At that time, stories were flying about the fact that the ambassador from Dominica had actually left the country with thousands of blank passport forms from Dominica, passports themselves, legitimate issued passports. But of course, nobody really sought to publish that because it had never been corroborated, even though it came from a person inside the government. Now, I have received corroboration, and it didn't come from inside Dominica. it came from sources within the United States, so I need say no more about where they came from. But for that reason, I did publish the article, because if it is true, as these confirmations indicate, that there were a fistful of passports sold to a Middle Eastern diplomat, and that as many as 2,000 of these have now ended up in Syria, which, as you know, is the home of ISIS. It's home of an Al-Qaeda affiliate and another group of radical Islamists, that we could have a situation where Dominicans show up in Roseau who happen to be terrorists from the Middle East. We're not born in Dominica, and purchase some of these passports, and therefore they have the right to come into the country. The story is that there were many thousand passports sold on 2 occasions, and as such, while we certainly don't know how many there were, it could be as many as, I hate to say this because the truth hurts, it's been said that there were as many as 10,000 passports that were sold. Of course, this kind of a passport could only have been issued if either the Minister of Foreign Affairs allowed these documents to leave their secured facilities, or the Prime Minister of the country was involved with this. So pointing fingers, I mean, this is a crime of international proportions, and it could result in a number of radical Islamists showing up in Dominica one day and interfering with the lawful governance of the country and actually creating a clear and present danger to Dominicans. I wonder what the United States government is going to say when they learn of this. Although it appears that one sector of the government is aware of it, you know, we're talking about shades of Grenada. If something is a clear and present danger to safety and security in the East Caribbean, the United States isn't going to stand by and let it happen.
Well, this is just an allegation for the time being. We're waiting on the Minister of Foreign Affairs to speak. Somebody close to government, maybe the security minister as well. Two very big issues on your plate there, security minister, as it relates to the police making a huge error, read the money seizure, and now this. Is that so? Maybe you should speak out. It's 18 before the hour of 2. Before we take your phone calls, we'll take a break and come back.
Monday, May 1st, it's that time again. Marigot Reunion Mayfest 10 Family Fun Day and NGT Motor Club Big Bad Show. All Dominica will be converging at Reunion Village Marigot Fisheries Complex from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. on May 1st to celebrate this exciting event of rich diversity of traditional activities and family fun. Headlines include straight out of New Jersey DJ White Vest and the Classic Sounds International, straight out of Eclipse Sounds family, plus the return of the Smith Brothers by popular demand. But wait, Monday, Marigot will get frantic as she is coming to perform with a big band, the unstoppable, incredible, musical Bouillon Double Bubble, 2-time Queen, Colin Speed. Along with the Fanatic Band, and on the main stage, explosive performances from the newest rhythm sensation, Master Gas Mafia. Monday, May 4th, all roads lead to Marigot Reunion Village, Marigot Fisheries Complex, Mayfest 10 Family Fun Day Monday, and MGT Motor Club Big Bad Show. Traditional games, bounce castle, packed entertainment, music, delicious food, drinks, joy and laughter. Only $1 from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m., $5 thereafter. Headline sponsors Marigot Cooperative Credit Union, Digital and Digital Play, Soul Dancer, Town Group of Companies, Archipelago Trading, Fine Foods Inc., Marigot Development Corporation, and Al and Kel Promotion. This is big. Don't miss Marigot Monday, May 1st.
It's we versus them as Bright Opens presents a Cube World Cup third test match. West Indies versus Pakistan, Windsor Bank Stadium, May 10th to 14th, Dominica. Partners include Digicel, Scotiabank, JetBlue Airways, Blue Waters, Joma, Dominican Cricket Association. Stands $40, East End $30, grounds $25. West Indies versus Pakistan, May 10th to 14th for Dominica.
1:45, somebody's on the telephone there. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peltier. How are you?
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I got a question for you.
For me, all right?
You're a smart man. Does anything that Mr. Riddock said make any sense?
Does anything that Mr. Astafan says correct? Or the Prime Minister?
Answer my question. Ask me your question.
Well, I'm answering the question the way that I am answering the question. Does anything that the Prime Minister says correct?
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense that anything he says is correct.
Does anything Mr. Riddock says make sense? Why are you being defensive? I'm asking a question.
No, ask your question again, because you're saying too many things in one breath there. Take your time.
I said, does anything Mr. Riddock said in that interview make any bit of sense to you, Matt Peltier?
Does it make sense to me? Yes, I think it makes sense.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. He is telling you that he's receiving the reports from inside. Should I not trust what he is saying? That's what you're saying to me? And everybody else, you can trust the information? Hello, talk to me. Hello. 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 Somebody's, of course, calling but not saying anything, remaining silent on the line. Hello, talk to me.
Marcus Peltier, good afternoon to you, sir.
How are you doing, sir?
Now, based on your last caller's intervention, what Mr. Riddock is saying, it makes a lot of sense to me. Because, one, the question was asked of our foreign minister in the House of in Parliament. Okay?
Yes.
And she said basically for security reasons, she cannot and she choose not to tell us, the Dominican people, through the minister, Leonard Clinton, who was asking the questions at the time, who are the persons, the names of the holders of our passports out there. So it makes a lot of sense to me. What was Mrs. Francine Baron Ray hiding? Mr. Skerritt as well. It is on the record. Tony Astafan said, brother, for your information, if you did not hear him, Susan Oldie bought a passport for $100,000, and it was used in the campaign of the Labour Party 2009. You understand me, Matt? So when these callers are coming up with their hanky-panky stories, doing as if they're not hearing what is happening.
Let me answer you this way. A lot of what is being reported by Riddock, a lot of people wish it was not true.
Yeah, but you don't see smoke without fire. I'm telling you, Matt, a game changer in that matter is when an ISIS member will be held by these Western powers out there with one of our passports, Matt. That will be the game changer for Dominica. Thanks for the opportunity. Brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I mean, people can, believe or not believe. But according to one observer who spoke to me this morning in confidence, Matt, check the numbers. Just one hotel in the north was offered 800 and something passports for sale. 800 and something, okay? So, you don't know. Hello, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Matt.
To you, sir.
Matt, the guy asked if we believe everything Riddock says. Do we believe the villas belong to a particular person in Dominica? Do we have to believe everything that they tell us? And, why is it that the government not taking Riddock to court? Why is it that the government is not taking, based on all the information Lennox gave about the villas? Why did they close down the IPO so that what Lennox revealed, would not go through? Why we have to believe everything the government says and don't believe what another person have to say?
That's a good question, my brother. They will never ever believe. And I asked one of government's handlers this morning, why did you never talk about Mr. Monfare's stay in Dominica for how many months? There are many things that these handlers will not talk about. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, to you and the listening public, good afternoon.
Uh-huh.
We have too many notorious people. And the question he posed to you, he's supposed to call Honorable Roosevelt Scarrett Liar Doctor. He to call to ask that question, not Matt. Roosevelt Scarrett to call to ask that question there. Why is he calling to ask that? You're not the Prime Minister of the country. He's supposed to ask his Prime Minister if it has any truth in what this man is saying. He's supposed to be the one to be accountable and transparent to us. And you see me from...
I agree, and of course you have to ask the Minister of Security and Immigration these questions.
Not you. You are only you are only on the program, doing the program with us, but you're not no Minister of Government, you know.
Caller, thank you very much. I am really accustomed to that. Hello, talk to me.
Good afternoon, Matt.
How are you?
Your listeners. Matt, I'm fine, thank you, and I'm blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, I just want to say a little thing there. Matt.
Say something, Mom.
All those people that swaying Roosevelt Scarrett and the Labour Party, there's a what they call retribution. It has never failed yet, Matt. And when their days come to get their retribution, they will say it's people that do them mal. All of them are helping him to bring down the country. They will find out. When that word come back to haunt them, that word retribution, they will say it's people that do them bad. And bye-bye and good afternoon.
Thank you very much. Let's move on. Hello.
Matt.
Yes?
What I would like some of all you reporters to do,
Mm-hmm.
when Roosevelt Scarrett in town hall meeting, how come reporters doesn't go there and pose those kind of questions to him? Each time that those things happen, he cannot go around there spinning his disc how he wants to the people that doesn't maybe understand what he's saying. And they're not asking him no questions. I think it's time that people go outside there when Roosevelt Scarrett have them town hall meeting and put them questions to you. Let us see how he out there to answer them.
Have a blessed day. Hello, talk to me.
Matt, good afternoon.
My brother.
I would have loved to ask that caller, that famous caller, Matt, how many people who just happen to be rich and in trouble with the law has Roosevelt Scarrett bestowed diplomatic status on them? And if he thinks that that's a coincidence, that all these people turned out to be crooks, and having ambassadorial privileges means that you can pass through any customs with anything. So it's the perfect opportunity to launder money. And all these people, Manfred, Madweke, all these characters who had that status, they have a lot of money.
You know, I'm just asking the question too. Is Mr. Kenneth Reed Jock suddenly just stepped out of the sky and, of course, affecting his credibility to make comments like that about Dominica? 4493097. Hello.
Good afternoon, Matt. How are you doing?
How you doing, man?
Good. Good program.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling on the Dominican population. Please don't get distracted. This caller that calling is trying to distract the information that is getting out.
He's just trying to affect the credibility of Rejoc.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to do. So we have to be careful because most of the caller now trying to target the caller that call and say about what we just said. Or not. We have to stay focused because remember, he who have ears will not hear. He who have eyes will never see.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be careful of how we are dealing with this serious matter, Dominicans. It's a serious problem at hand. And the Prime Minister don't care. He will take down the whole country for his sake. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hello, talk to me. You ought to start asking some questions, you know? Why is the Prime Minister not answering questions about, Montfarret at all? Hello, talk to me.
Yes, Mr. Perry, good afternoon. How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good, Isaac Baptiste. I'm not on Montfarret, and we have already decided that the Mr. Skerrit must go regarding this issue. And speaking about, I would like to make a brief comment regarding the confiscation of money by
the police.
Or the police.
Okay.
Not with this specific case in particular. We hear often these things happening, thousands of dollars, sometimes $500,000, whatever. And when this cash is approved, or the court or the judiciary has approved that this money be transferred to the government and goes into the treasury. Yet, Matt, we have for years upon years these paros on the streets of Roseau. Every time you hear, that this tourist season comes in, the Minister of Tourism and everybody complaining about paros in Roseau and the impact on tourism. Why can't some of this money be used to build a rehabilitation center where these persons, because the majority of the paros, they are in that state because of drugs, and you're confiscating all of this money as a result of drug trafficking? Why can't some of this money be used to build a rehabilitation center? You heard the psychiatrist doctor complaining all the time how many times you have asked that this be built. I'm asking and I'm calling on the government. These monies that you are getting through confiscation because of trafficking, please utilize some of it to build a rehabilitation center to get the paros out of the road.
And I think we need that. Now, 156, somebody's saying to me, Matt, we need a commission of inquiry, of course, to answer all of these questions. Thank you very much. It has been brought up so many times. Why are we not answering questions? Hello.
Matt, good afternoon.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm very peaceful, my brother, and good afternoon to your listeners.
Thank you.
Matt, you were just asked a question, of course, and I would imagine in your capacity as a journalist, you would have been expected to answer the question. But Matt, can I assist in responding to the question, if I may?
Of course.
Thank you very much. Matt, when you are living in a country where people pray with their eyes bowed and heads closed, Matt, when you are living in a country where some people prayer is the root of all evil, Matt, when you are living in a country where somebody like Gon Emmanuel, where the attempted murder and the arson that was committed on his personal, on his private property has not been brought, even nobody has been charged. Matt, when you are living in a country where a government is accused of hiding international fraudsters and money launderers and that sort of stuff, where persons are wanted by Interpol, what do you expect? What do these guys want us to believe? What more evidence do we need? Matt, in the rest of the civilized world, Matt, I know you're following what is happening in the United States, where Bill O'Reilly is accused of, certain sexual
allegations,
allegations, and you heard so many business entities have pulled out their ads on Fox, and some of the Fox is parting ways with him. Matt, this is what happens in the rest of the civilized world. But Dominica presently, which is a waste of time country, it is not going to happen, and this is why the people must come out in full force. And Matt, I want to take the opportunity, please, to commend and congratulate persons like Mr. Loftus and the Copels and the Blessings. And Matt, I think they have two sisters there with them from your community, are saying that this rogue, corrupt, rotten regime has to go. Matt, we cannot wait to take these people out by any sort of bogus election. Matt, when you are living in a country where a man with a flatbed truck and some speakers is accused of trying to overthrow a government, Matt, when you are living in a country where the leader of the opposition is prevented from entering the parliament building where he has an office, what do they want us to believe? Isn't this our reality? Isn't the reality of Dominica today? Matt, when you are living in a country where you have an inflated cabinet, which is a non-performing cabinet, when you have what passes as a government, which is doing everything to be out of office, and yet still for some reason they're still holding those offices. Matt, isn't that cause for concern? Shouldn't we believe it? So tell this brother, I could answer this brother, I hope, I have given him much to think about. Monfared, my goodness me. You have this woman from Nigeria, a former oil minister, who would have been walking around the world with a Nigerian diplomatic passport. What does she want a Dominican diplomatic passport for? And I have called, Matt, on every sensible, right-thinking Dominican to those who hold in diplomatic passport to surrender it. They must turn it over, throw it in the sea, or return it back to government headquarters or to the immigration department. They must not use Dominica's diplomatic passport. But it is time we learn to protest and show our disgust and bring this country to a halt until this rogue administration goes.
When the hill's so hard to climb and the river's so hard to cross, people hang on, hang on in there. If the locusts come down and you stand firm, Jah will see you through. People hang on in there. Life is one big road with a lot of signs. Speak righteousness, think no evil. Righteousness you shall find. Behind every dark cloud there's a silver lining. You know? Don't let no one tell you, my friend, that you can see